The uprisings in Bahrain began on February 14, 2011, which makes it one of the earlier countries to which the uprisings took place. Bahrain can be seen as one of the countries where the protests were not successful and the demands were not met. It is known as the 14 February Uprising or the Pearl Uprising. Bahrain is a constitutional monarchy where the prime minister is directly appointed by the king. The country has been independent since the early 1970s, and since then there only has been one prime minister in place, Khalifa bin Salman al-Khalifa, who is also the uncle of the current king. Bahrain's reason for protesting was because the majority Shiite, which makes 70% of the population, their rights were not being met by the Sunni monarchy. They asked for an elected parliament and a new constitution, thus asking for an actual constitutional monarchy. Protesters were called traitors and agents by Iran and Bahrain media, and violence occurred between the protesters and pro-government groups. Violence against protesters was present at an early stage of the protest. Protesters were being killed, which caused thousands of citizens to start calling for the departure of the Al-Khalifa family, while camping out at the Pearl roundabout for days. 4 weeks after this, the government requested troops and police aid from the Gulf Cooperation Council, and the Khalifa family allowed some troops, of which 1,000 from Saudi Arabia and 500 from the United Arab Emirates, into the country, and the protesters were removed from the Pearl roundabout. On March 15, a 3-month state of emergency was installed, which lifted on June 1st. The uprisings in Bahrain were put down using harsh violence from the government in a crackdown. People were tortured and detained, and some members of parliament resigned. To this day, protests still occur, yet on a high level, most notable being the protests of 2017 after a young man was murdered. Bahrain still convicts dissenters, even those who are peaceful, and have taken away the citizenship from at least 764 people between 2012 and 2018 under alleged offenses like terrorism and offending your country. Still remains a topic for international actors because of their human rights problems.